So speaking of Nick Saban and his former team, let's jump to LSU. So they came off of the 2023 season, 10-3 record, and this year actually did a little worse. So they ended up at 9-4 as well, coached by Brian Kelly in his third season, and they did not finish ranked. And I don't know how long it's been since that's happened, but not a good year for the Tigers.
Actually, not that long, because they didn't finish ranked for a couple of years when Ogeron got fired after they won the
That's right.
title. But yeah, I mean, this year for LSU, it was a disappointment, to say the least. They expected to be this great offense with Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback finally taking over after Jaden Daniels went off to the NFL. And partly Nussmeier was successful. He still threw for 4,000 yards this year, but he had a propensity to throw a lot of interceptions. And LSU really struggled to find consistency in the running game this year, which, you combine no running game, lots of interceptions, mistakes, and things like that. And their defense just was not up to typical LSU standard. And I think the best way you can describe them this year was just inconsistent. Started in the opening game of the season, losing to USC, who ultimately was not a very good team for USC standards, but just a lot of injuries. Harold Perkins got hurt and missed a lot of the season. It just was very inconsistent year for Brian Kelly and the Bayou Tigers.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see their trajectory since Brian Kelly got there. His first year, he's living off of Coach O's players, takes them to the SEC championship. Everybody's super impressed that he was able to do that in his first year, and he just hasn't been able to achieve that same level of success in his last 2 years, progressively getting worse.
Yep, a little bit worse each season, and that's despite having great quarterback play, which usually is a marker of a good, solid team. I mean, you had the Heisman Trophy winner last year, and you had Nussmeier this year put up a big season, but inconsistency will kill you in the SEC.
Oh yeah, and he said he couldn't win a national title at Notre Dame. He said that.
That's what he said.
Granted, they didn't win. They could have. And they made it. Who didn't? LSU.
So for my grade, inconsistent as can be for LSU. Obviously, they did lose a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. So, you expect to take a little step back, even though Garrett Nussmeier certainly was seen as the next heir apparent. I gave LSU a C+.
Yeah, I had really high expectations for Nussmeier because I just remember him coming in the SEC championship game against Georgia in Kelly's first year, and he just lit it up. Like, you could just tell this dude had arm talent like crazy. So I also am going with a C+. Just a year that Tiger fans probably want to forget.
All right, so the Nitro Show final grade for the LSU Tigers in 2024 is a C+.